mainly for, I think we're using the audio here so we can film it, so I'll try and be as loud as I can. Thanks all for coming. The first birthday of HotchPotch, yay, milestone, so welcome to you guys. We've been going for 4 years with future artists. Now before I start off, I'd like telling you a little bit about who I am, what I do, and all that kind of stuff. Has anybody even heard of future artists? Put your hands up clearly in there if you've heard of future artists. That's 7 people out of the room, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I've only got half an hour, so I think we've been typing how to break into the film industry. Now my film industry is a new industry, it's still emerging. It's completely different to the traditional industry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about my peers, people that I work with, and a little bit about future artists, what we do, why we were set up, and kind of where we're heading. So, before I jump into anything, has anyone heard of this film, Beasts of the Southern Wild? Yeah, put your hands up if you've heard of that movie. One person in the room that's heard of that movie. Okay, so this is like a festival darling at the moment. It's doing really, really well on the festival circuit, winning lots of awards, getting lots of nominations, and I think it might even be in the running for the Oscars to come award seasons. Beasts of the Southern Wild, why it's getting so much attention and why all these critics are calling it an unforgettable masterpiece, that kind of thing. It was made by a film collective in New Orleans called Court 13. Has anyone heard of Court 13? Okay. Okay, so this film collective is basically a little bit like a garage band of filmmakers that have got together under a manifesto, under a heading to kind of get work done using the resources that they had in New Orleans. So, in a similar vein to the Dogma 95 movement, have you heard of the Dogma 95 movement that came out of Scandinavia? A few people call. So it's a similar thing like that, but now we've seen a resurgence with more of these filmmaking collectives doing this kind of thing. So, Beasts of the Southern Wild was made by Court 13, named after a court, a tennis court, where they set up shop in New Orleans, post-Katrina. Now the film takes place during, or it's set in kind of a magical world, a make-believe world, where these hurricanes are coming, it's going to destroy their little house, their land that they live in. But basically the filmmakers used everything that they had available to them, which just happened to be post-Katrina New Orleans, which is is wrecked basically. So they used that as a backdrop for the movie. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because more and more of these films are coming out by collectives, very much like you guys, a HotchPotch, or a Future Artist, or Visible Circus. That's another collective that we work with. Or there's Emily James that's working down in London, who's done some award-winning films. Just Do It, Tale of Modern Outlaws. Anyone heard that movie? One person. These are all films that have got theatrical release in the UK, that have all gone on to win awards. They've all gone to do really good things, but they're from collectives that are just people getting together with no massive outside funding, with no traditional industry kind of beliefs or anything like that, but they're just getting there and out there and getting it done. And that's what we do at Future Artists. So, is there a beer around that I could grab, or a glass of water, just because I'm drying up on here. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at now in the film industry. There's kind of cool collectives like this and now making things happen, but doing so on a massive scale. And just to rewind a little bit to what we do at Future Artists, is that myself and Jenny Inchbold set up Future Artists in 2009 as a kind of a rally call to how the film industry was completely changing. But we believe that the distribution models in film, and the way that consumers or audiences want to watch movies, means that we need to make movies in a completely different way. So over the past 4 years, since our first event that we did at the Urbis, we have kind of done that over about 5 different projects. So the first project that we did was something called Project Praxis that we did in association with Fact 251, which was a nightclub. So it was a live experience and a documentary all about Manchester culture. The second project we worked on was a collaboration with Emily James, Just Do It. I worked as a camera op on that movie and also helped with the social media and the crowdfunding of that film. It went on to crowdfund. It was about £50,000. The film was shown theatrically across 70 different cinemas in the UK, and has since gone to tour America. Thank you very much. Excuse me, dry mouth. And then from Just Do It, we went and worked with a filmmaking collective called Invisible Circus. We helped them produce this, is what I'm going to show you in a minute. Actually, I'll show you that now. Okay, so I thought we could have some clips and stuff on here, but the internet's not working and it didn't come down with the DVD. So basically, this is a film that we created in response to how the film industry is constantly changing. When was the last time anybody went out and brought a DVD from Tesco's or HMV?
I bought about 3 days ago.
3 days ago. What did you buy?
The 9th gate.
The 9th gate. And how much did you pay for that? £4. So for a filmmaker's work for the 9th gate, which I presume was a high budget production, you paid £4, of which the filmmaker would probably get. Is that a train going over?
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, the filmmaker would probably see about 10p out of that after the distributor would cut everything down and that sort of thing. So yeah, the kind of, if you've been to HMV recently, you'll notice that everything's on the 2 for 10, that kind of thing. So that's the sort of business industry that we're now in. So if you create something that can be the most amazing thing, you can have the biggest stars in the world in, but your movie's going to end up very quickly in the 2 for £10 in HMV. And there aren't many other high street retail stores out there. We've got we've got five shops in the whole of the UK. HMV is slowly winding down to DVD models broke. And Tesco's basically, Asda and Morrison's are in places where you find your films at the moment. So the reason when we started distributing Invisible Circus No Dress Rehearsal to do it a little bit different like this is that I'm a big fan of like analog records, that kind of thing, and the aesthetic of the documentary, which was about activists taking over disused buildings in Bristol, in Stokes Croft in Bristol. Taking over empty buildings. The documentary was filmed over 4 years and charts them going from being illegal squatters in disused buildings to becoming legal and getting sponsorship from like Urban Splash, the councils accepting them, and being given massive buildings to do site-specific theatre in. And the film charts that journey. And so we wanted to reflect that in the distribution. So Future Artists basically worked with Naomi Smythe, who's the director. I worked on as a producer and also a producer of distribution. And for the past year we've been touring this movie on 20 theatrical screenings up down the UK. Another train. 20 theatrical screens across the UK. And we've sold about 1,000 of these. And we've done loads on download as well, but only a few hundred on download. And we did a free release as well on Daily Motion. We became a partner of Daily Motion. And it was seen 66,000 times in 3 weeks using this kind of new model that we do at Future Artists, which is too much to really go into now. But we're doing a film festival the 1st to the 4th of November, and on our industry day on the 3rd of November on the Saturday. If you are interested to hear more how these models work, come along to that, because there's going to be people from all over, from London and Berlin to chat about what we're talking about right now. So this is the front cover. Inside we've got a nice DVD, a nice picture. And then on the back, we've got, there's Naomi, a bit about the film, and QR code on the back so you can go to our little digital universe where we can interact with you and continue telling the story and that kind of thing. Now, 9th Gate, was it?
Yep.
£4. Is that a recent film? Recent films?
99, I think.
99 is quite old film. £4. We've been selling these for £15, so 15 quid, on our own Amazon store. Like I said, we sold about 1,000 of these, so they cost about £3 ish to produce. So basically the sales of this has helped Naomi make a second film that she's making at the moment, and also helped us fund the Black Lion, which is our cinema and pop-up space in Salford. Anyone heard of the Black Lion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what helped pay for that one movie, working with those guys. We own all the rights to this. As does Naomi, it's a cooperative, so we've got equal billing, equal sharing, but we've kept the value of the film at 15 quid, so this won't lose value because it's something unique and different. And we've retained all the rights, which is the most important thing as a filmmaker to do. And that's probably something that these guys are probably clever enough to do as well. Then the fifth project that I'm working on now as a director and a producer is a project called Lost Generation, which we've been working on for about 2 years, on and off, which is a piece of site-specific theatre, an online kind of adventure and biography, and then a feature film of 80 minutes. And it should be ready for early next year. But we're in no rush to get it out. It's a documentary kind of and fiction piece documenting our times that we're living right now. And the times that we're living right now are getting pretty crazy, so they keep changing. So we keep changing what the project is. But hopefully we'll lock it down and have it out next year. What else can I tell you about future artists? We own a venue now, so we own the Black Line, which is a pop-up cinema space. We work with distributors and filmmakers across the world to screen new and interesting work. Every month we show something off the wall that you won't get anywhere else, but our audiences are building and building, so we're seeing there's an appetite for different things that aren't the X Factor and your commercially driven Odeon films that you see. You know, your sequels and your Born Legacy reboots and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm going to throw it out to questions. That's probably not really how to break into the film industry. That's more like what have we been doing. But we earn a living out of it, and we get filmmakers to earn a living out of it. And we run a venue, and we do what we want to do, and we make our own creative decisions, which I suppose is the place that you guys all want to find yourselves in eventually. It is totally hard work. It is 18-hour days every single day. Your Facebook's going off. You get tweeting people, you get emails, you get asked to do things like this, you obviously work on your own work as well, you have a venue to run, you've got a team of 8 staff to work with. So it is hard work, but you do get your complete independence. So, yeah. Any questions, guys? Phil?
What's the most rewarding thing for being in this industry? What's the most rewarding thing and what's the disappointing thing?
The most rewarding thing is I'm a storyteller and I'm an artist, a group of people that haven't got a voice or need help to get it out, and they obviously are struggling or maybe need a little bit of help. I can come along with a few other people, introduce them, and then work on a project to get that out. So for example, with Invisible Circus, Naomi has been working on this film for 4 years and we met her kind of 3 years in. And we were able to help her to make the DVD, polish the movie off, do some editing on it, give us some advice, and then get it out to an audience of over 70,000 people. Now, in my wildest dreams, if anybody was seeing my work and there's 500 people in a room, that for me would be like an amazing thing. But I know there's 70,000 people who've seen that project, and knowing the mistakes that I've learned doing that and working with Naomi when I release The Lost Generation next year, I'm hoping that we can get over 70,000 people and into 500,000 very easily, because I understand what we did wrong and all that kind of thing. What was the second question?
What's the most disappointing thing with filmmaking in general?
I think it's when you try really hard to do things and people don't really understand why you're doing it. So you find yourself in situations where you've been a pioneer and you've been an entrepreneur 24/7, but some people don't understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, and you're constantly having to explain your actions, which I don't mind doing, but I just prefer to get on with it. And then, your actions speak louder than words, as it were. So, that's the result of 3 years worth of hard work at Future Artists, is to enable us to get that to 70,000 people, sell 1,000 copies, and have our own independent venue. So that's it, just constantly explain ourselves, which could be to your peers in the film industry, or it could be to the Arts Council, or the Film Council, or whoever the funding bodies are. We've never been funded. We've never had a penny in funding or soft funding. Everything we've done is by entrepreneurial spirit, by doing things, events, or DVD sales, or getting a little bit of private finance occasionally. But yeah, that's the biggest downside. People kind of don't get where we're headed. But the more people like this, doing this sort of stuff. Do some research on these guys, on Court 13, on Future Artists, or on the Invisible Circus Collective, what Emily James is up to. Put it into context, and you see there's a lot of, and HotchPotch as well. This cool little collective all doing cool things. So, yeah. Next question.
Give us an insight into your program concept for your festival, and how hard was it putting it together?
For the festival, now, it wasn't that hard, and this is a random thing, is because we hang out with all these people online and we get sent stuff all the time. So we were like, okay, we need to put a little festival on because there's so many filmmakers asking us how we do all this, and there's so many people wanting my contacts, which I'm happy to give, you know, and I'm like, yeah, these are the people you need to speak to. But everyone's inundated all the time, so it's like, how do you get 50 people, or how many is it, like 25 people in this room, how do you get them to meet the booker from Dog Wolf, who will help you distribute your movie by a pop-up cinema, which is a new way of getting your movie out. And I'm constantly, like, they can't answer 25 emails in a day because they work on industry stuff, so it's like, okay, if we just got everybody in a room for one day that I know, and will they come on that one day, and can we book all this content that was constantly being emailed to us all the time? So the curation of the festival only took about a week. It was nailing down the industry professionals on that one weekend. So we knew it was after the BFI Film Festival, which is why we chose November, and it wasn't too close to Christmas. So that's why we went for the 1st to 4th of November. And then we've only given ourselves 4 weeks to promote it, because we were promoting another festival at Black Line called Not Part of the Bullenby Club, which is our 1-year celebration. And the rights issues and all that sort of stuff are all owned by the people that made the movies. So we were able just to pick the phone up and say, we want to show it, and they're like, yeah, cool. For example, we've got Tiny Furniture by Lena Dunham, who has just been nominated for 4 Emmys with her HBO series called Girls. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. Chat to her over Twitter. So we're doing this festival and we're showing a documentary called Press Pause Play, which is all about DIY culture. And she's in it talking about why she's making films and how she's doing it. And I'm like, that's exactly what we're doing. That's Lena Dunham, who's got Emmys. And I'm like, okay, how do we contact her? Well, she's obviously on Twitter, so we just have a few tweets and she says yes, and that's for us is enough. So there we go, we've got a film on. And we financed it all ourselves, so there was no getting permission from anybody. We had the venue, and we just needed to book stuff.
It's all at Black Lion?
It's all at the Black Lion, and if we do it again next year, hopefully we can use the church across the road and a few other venues around us, but just to keep it tight, just for logistics, just do it at the Black Lion.
Is it when film screenings, like kind of industry talks, master classes?
Oh, okay, I'll talk you through it, I'll give you a little plug. Okay, so on the Thursday night, we screened a film called Riots from Wrong, which is a film made by a community group in Tottenham, where Mark Duggan was shot to cause the riots last year, to spark the whole riots that went up and down the country. Community group of teenagers aged 16 to 21 made this documentary. They sent it to me. I get sent a lot of stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll sit down and give it some time. I was thinking community group film, it might be well intentioned, but it might be a little bit ropey around the edges and stuff like that. Put it in, watched it it's on for an hour, and I was just absolutely blown away by it. I've seen amazing production values. The narrative was it was a young person's perspective on the riots. And I was like, oh my god, loads of people need to see this movie. So originally intended on the Thursday night, our festival was going to be like a Heritage Day, looking at old movies, working with the Northwest Film Archive. Cancelled that and put in Riot from Wrong because it's a very important piece of filmmaking, so that's going to open our festival. So, and it's free to come to as well, so it's absolutely free of charge. Come and watch that movie and be like blown away by the teenagers that made the movie. And hopefully one of them's going to come down and do a Q&A, or we might do a Skype Q&A. So it's amazing. And it's about the riots that happened, and they mentioned Salford, so it's like, you're like, whoa, okay, please go right now. Then on Friday we're screening Call Me Kutcher, which is about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender issues in Uganda, and about, basically if you're gay in Uganda, you can get killed for how you are. So we realised that film is an important medium for change, so we're screening that with a bit of a lively discussion afterwards, and we want people to take action and see it, things like that. Then on Saturday, we've got an industry day, where we've got 7 workshops People from Dog Wolf, we've got Distrify, which is a distributor. They're coming over from Berlin to chat to us. We've got a PR agency. We've got Sue Woodward, who is the creative director behind the Sharp Project. The Sharp Project is a new film studio in Manchester. So you've got Media City and you've got the Sharp Project. The Sharp Project are backing us and backing our festival and that's so we'll talk how you can get involved in the Sharp Project. And then on the Sunday, and then on the Saturday night, we're screening a film called Last Shot Standing, which we've got producer Pit Piper coming up to do a Q&A about his crowdfunded film that's about record shops and the decline of independent shops. And then on Sunday we've got Lena Dunham's Tiny Furniture, we've got Press Pause Play, and we've got Indie Game the Movie, which is all about DIY culture and do-it-yourself kind of filmmaking. Some of them are free, some of them are like £6 to get into. The entire festival ticket at the moment is £20 for the whole 4 or 5 days. Oh, there's a big free party on the Tuesday night, which some of you might have seen on HotchPotch Facebook. On Tuesday night at the Sharp Project, there's a big networking do of 200 creatives coming down, free beer, just to enjoy yourself. So you can get involved that way. Anyway, that's enough of a plug on that. I'll take a couple of questions and then we'll wrap it up and let the industry the most exploited genre, or is it what we do?
What you do?
We just tell stories, so it could be, the aesthetic could be a documentary, but it could be a cross-hybrid struggle to figure out what I do. We do a lot with documentaries because I feel that if you're a filmmaker and you can capture that kind of truth, like police, sheep dogs that are trying to bite you, tear gas, all that sort of stuff. A lot of that didn't even make it in the movie, but as a filmmaker, you're going through all that to put that out there and get that into the film. That never happened in a cosy soundstage or where you film in your little terrace house and you're filmmaking, because you can go out there and make another zombie movie, but you do it the same as the other 1,500 zombie movies that are out there. But if you go and stand with a camera in front of the kids rioting in Salford and you capture their story and you're able to put their point across that the media always change and manipulate, I think you're a more worthy and valid storyteller, and I'm happy to support you in your endeavour, because I think that's the most important thing. That's why we're filmmakers, I think, and not Coca-Cola.
How much value do you put on traditional qualifications, be that producing, directing, acting?
So traditional qualifications are... Well, thank you. If you want to know more about our festival that's happening on the 1st and 4th of November, the free party on the 13th of October, I'm going to be around for the next sort of hour, and then we'll go back to the Black Lion and help out on the bar. So, actually, I'm on the other side of the bar tonight. So, yeah, independent.